let's talk about the structure a little bit. We have an introduction to the song. We have a verse, first verse, and then we have a pre-chorus. And the feel of the pre-chorus rhythmically is not a lot different, but the vocal melody changes a little bit, and the chord progression changes a little bit. And then we have our chorus and the main, thematic, lyric, and point of the song. It's also the biggest section of the song. It's kind of it's the vocal hook of the song. And then we have a turnaround or post-chorus that revisits the intro and then sets up our second verse. So after verse 2, we have pre-chorus 2. Pre-chorus 2 is half as long as the first pre-chorus because I wanted to find a place in the song to cut out a little bit of the repetitiveness, and with the change in the melody and chord voicings of the pre-chorus, it just felt nice getting to the chorus a little bit faster. I wanted to cut out some of the time and just sort of move into that chorus section that the pre-chorus sets up so nicely. And then we have another turnaround post-chorus. So then we have the bridge, and it's a little bit of a departure from the way some things have felt before. The acoustic guitar goes away, the electric guitars change. There's just a different sense of space. The progression changes, and then that leads into a third chorus and then an outro. The outro is an extended version of what the turnarounds post-choruses have been, and they build on the theme of the introduction. The introduction to the song is drums, bass, and acoustic guitar. And the leading line that Ford plays on the acoustic guitar is what the sort of the riff is in the turnaround post-choruses, and it becomes sort of the instrumental theme of the song. It's the thing that's repeated, not strictly, but it's feel very familiar. It's done with a familiar feel every time, but it builds off of what happened in the intro, and it helps restart the verse sections, or like it transitions nicely to the bridge. So let's talk a little bit about arrangement. The way the introduction is set up is by a drum fill, because it just to start without it didn't feel as satisfying. To just start like, I mean, that's fine, but I suggested we have a little fill because it felt nice to set it up this way. It's something that's a little bit distinctive. It kind of grabs your ear and makes it a little bit more memorable to me. It sets it up nicely, and then we add at the pre-chorus what happens in the arrangement. That sort of the addition at the pre-chorus. The first thing that comes in that's a change is our harmony vocal. So let me just play you from the end of the verse, just as a reminder, and you can hear how sort of the rhythmic foundation of it stays the same, but that some of the vocal melody changes a little bit, and you hear the harmony vocal come in the pre-chorus.
Where you go, you're always coming home empty. Some people know what they're after, some never figure it out. Thought you had something that mattered, but it don't matter now.
Let's go to the second pre-chorus. In the second pre-chorus, we made it half as long, but we used the second half of it where the harmony came in, so that when it switches from the verse into that pre-chorus, you immediately get that harmony voice, and the momentum feels better. And once you've heard that harmony voice in the pre-chorus, you kind of want to hear it the whole time, that the top melody is changing with the vocal, and there's a little bit of a shift in the music.
And what you need when you're low. thought you had something that mattered, but it don't matter now. No, it don't matter now.
And that second half of the pre-chorus lyric sets up the chorus really nice. So once you've heard that the first time, that's really the most important part of the pre-chorus. And like I said, it was a place to grab a little bit of momentum through the structure and not have the full pre-chorus. Oftentimes in arranging, a second or third verse will be shorter than the introductory verse because you've already told a lot of the story and you want to just sort of reinforce, give a little bit more information for the story, but sometimes to go through another whole verse, second or third verse, it just starts to slow the momentum of the song, and it's not necessary for the story. In this case, the verses are pretty short, and we only have 2 of them, and it just felt like a good thing that the thing that should be half as long is the pre-chorus, and there's sort of the nice lift you get going into the chorus with that harmony that comes in. Okay, so the other thing that happens in the arrangement, I'm going to rewind from the first pre-chorus to the chorus, is that we get the second acoustic guitar coming in, we have the tipple, and the electric guitar comes in, and it just those instruments coming in there, it just makes the chorus feel like a bigger musical moment, and spreads the interest out, the musicality and the image, and it just makes it feel a little bit more fun. Because so much of additional stuff comes in. We have an electric guitar, an acoustic guitar, the tipple, the harmony stays in, and we have that organ coming in just very quietly. It just feels like, wow, the song just got so much bigger. There's just more information, and you want a chorus to feel big and impactful. So let's just play the very end of the pre-chorus and into the chorus.
Mad, but it don't matter now. No, it don't matter now. So what are you gonna do? What's pulling you through? Girl, what's left to lose? Oh yeah, if it's all right.
And just sort of like making the small addition of, well, you have in the pre-chorus you have the addition of the progression changing a little bit and the vocal melody change. That's a nice shift, and then that harmony comes in. It's just sort of, it's lifting and building, and then the chorus hits, and you have all this excitement coming in, a lot of beautiful parts and melodies happening, and then we get to the turnaround, the first turnaround, and the guitar stand and the organ goes away, but the electric guitar especially plays the figure that Ford played in the intro, and just sort of reinforces that, and then makes that a really distinct reoccurring theme in the song.
Sometimes a heartbreak.
And the tipple also plays it. And now when it lands on the verse, we kind of empty it back out, but just for a little bit.
Sometimes a heartbreak puts you.
Want to get back to the feeling of the intimacy and the closeness. Bring the dynamic back down. Give ourselves some place to go. So for the first couple bars, it kind of comes down. It's just back to the basic instrumentation. But then after a couple bars, the second acoustic guitar starts to creep in. It's playing very similarly to the main acoustic guitar, but it's just kind of like, it's just filling things out a little bit. It's sort of taking up a little space, giving us a little bit of interest and depth to the arrangement.
Sometimes a heartbreak puts you on your knees and leaves you begging, please let me go. But maybe what matters isn't what you believe, just getting what you need when you're low. Thought you had something that mattered, but it don't matter now. No, it don't matter now. So, what are you gonna do? What's pulling you?
So we move through the verse and the pre-chorus with the harmony coming in. Now we have all the same instrumentation going on as in the first chorus, but you know, the electric guitar player digs in a little bit more. It's kind of making things feel a little bit more urgent. The organ is a bit louder, a little bit more forward feeling. So the size of the chorus has been increased a little bit. The energy of it feels like it's peaking a little bit more. And then we get back to our thematic turnaround. Okay, so all the guitars, all the acoustic instruments go away. The organ goes away. The Eli on the bass, he starts playing a lot higher because suddenly he doesn't have to hold down as much of the bottom. He can move up into a higher register and play something a little bit more melodic. It's just a nice change of scenery, and these are like really. There's not a lot of instrumentation, and it's not an overly complicated arrangement, but just making some space on certain instruments, letting them go away and come back, and giving an opportunity for the bass to change the way it's playing, and the drum pattern changes just a little bit. You know, the feel of the drums changes a little bit, like especially on the hi-hat. It's played a little bit straighter and not as there's not as much dynamic to it. Eli's able to go up on the bass. You know, Ian's guitar parts go away, and then the electric guitar is he's able to play really quiet and pretty because this space has been added and the bass has come up. You can hear the focus of the vocal changing. The harmony goes away. He's singing in a little bit breathier, more delicate way. It kind of just adds a lot of space and dimension to it. And then the guitar is sort of doubled on the other side because it's all like the tipple and the other things that have been its partner have gone away to kind of create this new opportunity in space. And so we have two pretty electric guitars happening on the sides and the melodic bass in the middle, and it's just down to the voice as well.
Some people know what they're after. Some never figure it out. Thought you had something that mattered, but it don't matter now. No, it don't matter now.
So the couple other things to observe about the way some of it's mixing, some of it's arrangement choices. Halfway through the bridge, Ian's overdub acoustic comes in halfway through. Just it's not really loud in the arrangement or in the mix, and it's kind of a subtle aspect of the arrangement, but it just adds a little bit of that busier rhythmic syncopation that's going on, and it starts to fill out some of the chord voicings, and because he's kind of playing something that's a little bit higher on that guitar, it sort of lives up with what the electric guitars are doing and the bass is doing, and then when we're back to that last chorus, you know, all of our familiar friends are back, but then we've added another acoustic guitar for the end, this one.
You're gonna do what's pulling you
to take the energy up a little bit more. We talked about it earlier, that just that capoed, higher voiced, that strumming thing that's going on. The organ's still real present. Oh, let me rewind just a second. One thing that I wanted to say about the bridge is when the bridge comes in.
Some people know what they're after.
I pull the effects way down on the vocal, quieter than they've ever been before in the song, to give you that, to really draw you into that more intimate space, that lighter. It's because everything's a little bit more delicate here, just to draw you into that space a little bit more, to get the focus of the vocal to feel like it's a little bit more closer to you, sort of telling you something a little bit more intimate, and just sort of changing your perspective. Also because I know that the biggest, loudest chorus is coming next, and it's just going to it'll make it more impactful. And when all those effects come back, and the instrumentation comes back, Jed is playing the electric guitar. He's digging in the most in this chorus, and just things are getting a little bit grittier and a little bit more forceful. So it just sort of helps make that scene change, and then transition back to what's familiar, and adding in that one extra guitar just kind of elevates some things a little bit more. And then after the last chorus, we go back to our post-chorus turnaround, familiar thematic instrumentation, but we add a harmonica. So I'm gonna play it into this without the harmonicas, because the harmonica is very loud and proud, and I just kind of want you to hear how it all sounds before I put that in.
Hold you all night. Hold you all night.
And so then I put the harmonica in, and as I mentioned before, this song has, I don't know, has a little bit of a feeling to me of a Bob Dylan tune, and just the final lyric there, that Ford sings, "Want to hold you all night." It feels like he's expressing something to someone that he's being intimate with, or just being vulnerable with. And the longer outro, we have the outro is twice as long as the thematic section has been before, just to give us some time to let the whole journey of the song sink in. Ford's voice has gone away, but the harmonica and the way that it sort of plays over that, it to me, the feeling I had was, it gives me sort of a cinematic sort of, the focus kind of going wide and sort of going out to the horizon, and that final lyric, and just sort of the feeling of the song, it just gives it a time to sort of the focus to soften, and for me to sort of live in the feeling that I've been given by the song. And because the harmonica is really strong, there, it sort of takes over for what the voice had been doing. It's sort of this wandering melody, and it just sort of helps wrap up that cinematic feeling, and just sort of letting the song kind of end and go away, and just sort of leave an impression. And I really felt like, I certainly wanted to hear the thematic element again of the song after the third chorus, but really it's the fourth time in the song we're hearing it. So I also felt like we needed to make some sort of really dramatic gesture to it, to sort of have it feel fresh again, especially if we were going to kind of like go through it twice and sort of live in it. And so that's just a little bit of insight into the way the structure works, and why certain decisions were made about the way the drums came in, having the second pre-chorus shorter, only harmonizing the second half of the first pre-chorus, the way that the bridge kind of empties out, and the acoustic guitar goes away in the bridge. Certainly in the songwriting demo, Ford played through the bridge. But that just felt like a good arrangement move to give us that new dimension of space, and then allow that last chorus to be really impactful when it came in. And then also in that last chorus, we added that harmony double. That's the room sound, just so things are like bigger and louder, and there's just more energy to sort of match the way the electric guitar was developing dynamically and sonically over the course of the song. I mean, each time we hear the electric guitar in the chorus, it gets a little grittier, a little bit busier, a little bit more forceful. So I just kind of wanted to just reinforce that energy. And in the chorus, I didn't think that there was enough room to add another instrument, and that harmony had become a real familiar sort of feeling for the choruses now, and so it was like that seemed like the one element that I could accentuate and help the storyteller's energy by making that harmony doubled with like a very reverberant sound. So those are just some of the insights into the way that this song is structured and the arrangement choices that were made throughout it.